Thank you for serving on the honor board at Gustavus Adolphus College. Your work is important in upholding our academic honesty policies and in ensuring a fair process for those students wishing to contest an accusation of academic dishonesty. In this presentation, I will give you an overview of our academic honesty policy and our honor board process. First, a note on why the honor code and our academic honesty process matters. At Gustavus, we value academic honesty. We believe that violations of academic honesty harm the person committing them, but also the community and the institution. We take honor code violations seriously. We also take due process seriously and want to ensure that anyone accused of violating the honor code has a fair and transparent process through which they can contest the accusation. An important part of our honor code policy and our honor code process is making our policies readily available. You can find our policies in the academic catalog and in the GUSTI guide. Faculty are also required to put their academic honesty policies on their syllabus. A few notes about our academic honesty policy itself. First, it covers all academic exercises. That means that even an assignment that doesn't carry much weight in terms of a final grade is an assignment to which the academic honesty policy applies. Second, the policy covers electronic sources, which now includes AI. We have encouraged faculty to be clear in their AI policies because we recognize that different courses, even different assignments in the same course, may have different rules with regard to AI use. Academic honesty also covers issues relating to students turning in the same work for two courses without permission. It isn't allowed. Second note, our academic honesty policy covers some issues you may not think about as academic integrity issues. Note that the misuse of library materials, computer hardware, software data, and output is a violation, as is recording a class without permission. All of that is a reminder that our academic honesty policy is intended to promote academic inquiry and academic freedom. Actions that threaten either are violations of academic integrity. Third, Gustavus has a series of penalties as college-wide policy. These have changed recently. For the first two violations of the academic honesty policy, whether those are in the same class or take place over a couple of years, the penalties are whatever the faculty member has determined for the courses, and in the case of the second violation, require a meeting with the dean. The third violation of Gustavus's academic honesty policy will lead to probation, and the fourth to expulsion. Finally, remember that all students have agreed to uphold the honor code when they join the college. Some faculty members have students sign something at the start of the course or as part of assignments. That's fine, but it's not required. Students have agreed to abide by academic honesty policies by matriculating at the college. In other words, claiming that a faculty member did not require a student to sign the honor code on a particular assignment or test is not a valid defense against an accusation of academic dishonesty. When we think about academic honesty, both faculty and students have responsibilities. We expect that faculty will practice academic integrity in their own scholarship, research, and creativity. In terms of their courses, we expect faculty to define the levels of authorized aid appropriate for coursework. That means that faculty should define what students can and cannot do in groups or in collaboration with other students. Faculty should explain if and when using something like ChatGPT is permissible. They should also provide examples of how to handle specific kinds of assignments that might lead to temptations or confusions for students. Faculty are also responsible for determining the course penalties for academic honesty violations and communicating those on their syllabi. Here, it is useful to note that we encourage faculty to consider a range of penalties. For example, a faculty member might say that a first violation could result in penalties up to and including failing the assignment. In that case, a faculty member might decide that a particular instance of academic dishonesty does not warrant failing the assignment and might instead have the student redo the assignment. Finally, faculty members are responsible for reporting violations to the Provost's office. Students, too, have responsibilities. First, they must comply with the authorized aid policy stated by the professor. Second, they do have a responsibility for asking questions. If a student doesn't understand the academic honesty policy or the specific requirements around authorized aid on assignment, we expect students to ask rather than making assumptions. As a member of the Honor Board, it's useful for you to know that Gustavus has tended, institutionally, to focus on preventative measures when it comes to academic dishonesty, rather than investing in detection technologies. Gustavus does not prohibit faculty from using these technologies, like Turnitin, but institutionally the focus has been on designing assignments that do not lend themselves to academic dishonesty, and on encouraging proactive questioning by students. All of that means that you might see different kinds of evidence with regard to academic dishonesty cases, depending on the faculty member. Now the details of the academic dishonesty process. When a violation occurs, faculty members are to inform both the student and the provost's office. If the student accepts the accusation or does not contest the allegation, it does not move forward to the honor board. However, if the student requests an honor board hearing, the student will meet with the dean to talk about the process. A student pursuing an appeal writes a statement and can supply evidence in their claim. That statement is then shared with a faculty member who can write a response and also provide evidence. Once both statements and the evidence have been submitted to the dean convenes the honor board, 3 students and 3 faculty members from the adjudication committee. The dean will work with the students and faculty to ensure that there are no conflicts of interest. Once an honor board is assembled, the dean will provide its members with access to the statements and evidence and ask the honor board to review both in advance of their first meeting. At that first meeting, an honor board and dean only meeting, the board will elect one of the faculty members as its chair, will tell the dean if it needs any further evidence, and will prepare questions to ask at the live hearing. The next step is the live hearing. We schedule these for 2 hours. That provides time for a brief pre-meeting with just the honor board and also for deliberation after the live hearing is done. Both the student and faculty member are invited to the live hearing and are allowed to call witnesses. Witnesses are only present for their own testimony. The honor board asks both the student and faculty member questions. There is also an opportunity for the student and faculty member to ask each other questions, although we ask that they relay these through the honor board chair. Once the hearing is over, the board deliberates. Here, it's important to note that the honor board is only empowered to decide whether the accusation is accurate. It is not the job of the board to decide if the penalty was appropriate. The expectation is that the board will reach a decision on the day of the hearing. 4 honor board members must vote to uphold the accusation in order for the accusation to be upheld. This ensures that there cannot be a vote to uphold the accusation that does not include at least 1 student vote for that outcome. Finally, the honor board chair, with the help of the dean, communicates the decision to the student, the faculty member, and the provost's office. At that point, the job of the honor board is done. Again, thank you for participating in this process. Your work is important in ensuring that our academic honesty policy is honored and that we have due process for students and faculty alike.